Live. Welcome everyone once again to the live stream show. Today we are talking about going live on LinkedIn. And my guest today is Leslie Flowers, and she has a story to tell because just a few weeks ago she went live on LinkedIn for the very first time. And we are going to talk about, first of all, this was not the first time that she'd ever gone live. She's been going live on Facebook for some time now. And in fact, has been teaching a whole group of people on how to do that, how to go live on Facebook. But she switched. So we're going to find out, why did she switch? And why is it a good idea to go live on LinkedIn? Why is LinkedIn possibly even a better location than Facebook? And of course, how you can do this too. So with all of that, stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Let's hit the intro. Recorded live in Boston, Massachusetts, this is the Livestream Show. In a world full of underexposed entrepreneurs, the Livestream Show is your gateway to a global community of live stream pioneers who dare to go live and create something special and unexpected, which could only happen because it was live. I'm your host, Brad Powell. Let's get on with the show. All right, and we are back. Welcome to the show, Leslie.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah, so why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do? Now, I know you as a business coach who helps people get better results. So how do you describe yourself?
Yes, well, that's a very simple and articulate way of saying it. Um, I help you get results by creating the process to set and achieve goals consistently over time. What I've discovered a number of years ago when I went to look for the rules for setting goals, there weren't any. And then I began over the years asking people, well, have you ever taken a class? And no one had. And over the years, I realized that real success and confidence requires consistent achievement of goals. So then there has to be the rules. So over 16,000 hours in 8 years, I've developed the rules and a lot of simple processes to assure that you will achieve every goal you set, other than if there is a catastrophe. So that's what I do.
Right. Awesome. That's so great. Well, I mean, consistency is really key, right? And
It is.
it, in terms of, like what we're doing right now, content creation, doing live video, being consistent is probably one of the most important aspects of how you want to show up for people, so they can actually count on you to be there and to be there for them on a regular basis. So you were using live video over on Facebook.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what were you doing? Why were you going live? And you were helping a group of people also learn how to do that.
Yes. Well, up until October of last year, I managed two groups. One I grew of 1,100 women thought leaders, and the other one I managed and grew to 4,500 local small business owners. And during COVID, I'm sitting at my desk and nobody's networking. So for Q2 and Q3, so a total of 24 weeks, I gathered a group in the women's group to create 12 training videos, a series that they could upload to YouTube to expand their message. That is, if you had enough content. And on the small business network of 4,500, I had them come in same time every week and do a 20-minute promo. So, the data mining for this was that not only did they get over the jitters of going live, and there are jitters with that, not only did they get to achieve their goal, which was either being in front of people every week for 12 or 24 weeks, and to create training on YouTube to expand their message, they got really good at the technology, which we didn't expect.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's one of the things that I think is really interesting for people in terms of most folks when they're facing Facebook Live or live video or facing the camera,
Yeah.
it can be quite intimidating. And yet, if they go for just a little bit of time, like it doesn't take that long, it becomes, much more natural. And the truth is, when you're live, it can be very forgiving. Now, for the folks who are joining us now, and also for you guys in the future, if there's anything that Leslie's saying or anything that comes out in the story that you're getting as this little nugget of wisdom, something that's resonating with you, I want you to make a comment down below and just write #aha and then write out whatever it is that you got. And this will be helpful not only for the conversation we're having now, but in the future, because more people are going to interact with this video in the replay. And so you can help the people in the future kind of see the highlights of this conversation. And that would be great to join us in that interaction. So, all right. So you guys are messing around on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And actually,
No, on Facebook.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're messing around over on Facebook. and people are actually doing pretty well over there. Like they're actually they're getting comfortable, they're getting at ease with it, and they're actually making videos, and they're making videos that they can use in the future. And this is all going really well. And yet you decided to move over to LinkedIn. So what happened
Not
there?
exactly. Well, not exactly. So understand that I had cultivated this group of 1,100 women and monetized them. Now, I had not done that with the small business group. And there were some 30 or 40 people, by the way, that got this training. And I had 2 small private groups, which I called the dressing room, where they could go in and practice their lives. And they did. I mean, they practiced over and over again. And one of the byproducts was the discipline, Brad, to create a new habit. They could do it, right? And as you know, public speaking is the number one fear people have, even over death. So those breakthroughs for people who were cautious and afraid, when they did it, it boosted their confidence immensely. So what happened last year was my fault. My laptop was hacked. A phishing scam went out on Facebook. And over the last year, I have engaged every expert who said they could get me back on Facebook, and none of them were able to do it. But in the meantime, because I know to keep moving my feet, even if I find myself in hell, and I had been telling my clients, go over to LinkedIn. Those people make more money anyway, but I hadn't gone. So this was sort of the universe's way of getting me over here. And so I spent the first 6 months, Brad, building content, uploading videos, right, and applying to go live. And the first time I didn't get in.
Right.
So, but you don't stop, right, Brad? You keep going.
That's right. Exactly. Okay, we've got a comment here from Neha. She says, let's see if I can bring it on here. Just a second.
Neha is in Hong Kong, China. Hello, Neha.
Right. She says, I was one of the trainers.
Yes, she absolutely was. And you did that for 12 weeks, I believe, Neha. Neha is all about love and relationships and speaking. She's in Hong Kong and always shared with us what was going on there last year, because they had some interesting things happening. Love her.
Yeah. So, okay. So on LinkedIn, as people may or may not know, in order to go live on LinkedIn, you do have to apply. And in the beginning, like I was one of the very early people to apply. As soon as they made it available at all, I was like, okay, I want this. And I got lucky, or I don't know, like I don't have no idea what their process really is, but I was accepted within just a few weeks. But this was at the very start. And the first iteration of their application project was fairly lengthy. You have to go and fill out like a lot of information about who you are and what you do and what you're looking for. However, now they have really slimmed that down. And all you really need to do is put in your name and put in the link to your profile where you intend to go streaming from. And that's about it. and they will get back to you. Like if you apply now, you will get a response within 24 to 48 hours, is what I understand.
But
And if
Brad,
you're,
don't you think they're looking for some content too? They're not just going to give it to you.
that's
Sorry for
right.
interrupting. Go ahead.
No, that's exactly right. So what to think about if you're going to apply is things like, what does my profile look like? Do I look like I'm very active on the platform? Do I look like I'm engaging with lots of people? Am I producing content on a consistent basis? So if you want to do this, you want to do some basic things like engage enough people on the platform so you have that threshold of 500 followers, so that it'll say over 500 connections, and then just start joining the conversation that you want to join, like interact with other people, comment on their stuff, do your own posting or repost and share other people's content, that kind of thing, so that your feed looks like you're on the platform on a regular basis. And this is it. Like that's probably the threshold that they're looking for, and you're very likely
Mm-hmm.
to get accepted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
let's talk about your experience on LinkedIn. Now, when we talked, I guess it was probably about a month ago, you were planning on doing a 5-day challenge, a 5-day live challenge, and you wanted to do it on LinkedIn.
Right.
And so we got together and I basically showed you some very basic stuff around, okay, here's how you get up. And in this case, when you go live on LinkedIn, you have to use a third-party tool. And there are a few of them. The one that we chose, the one that I use, is called Restream.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows you to go live not only onto LinkedIn, but also actually pick other destinations, so that you can pick LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. There's, I think, probably over 30 different possible destinations to multicast your stream to. So just tell me a little bit about your getting set up for this 5-day challenge and what that was like.
So I have to back up just a little bit. It sounds so easy, doesn't it? So, okay. So 2 weeks before I went live, I began doing some research. Now, I didn't want to learn how to do everything, but I was already a master at live on Facebook using Zoom. I knew it all, and I taught everybody, so we were all really good at it. So I get over to LinkedIn 2 weeks before the event, and I look at the literature. And with Zoom, well, they're not recommending Zoom, and if you want to use Zoom, there's like a lot of lengthy content, which turned me off right away. I do not want to be an expert on, the interrelationship between these platforms. I want to be able to use it. So that wasn't good. So then I went out on YouTube, and nothing. The only thing out there was a year old, which told me that this was really a new feature, because there was nothing on how to go live, and YouTube has everything. And then I asked on YouTube and I got crickets. So that was 2 weeks before. So I have to tell you that the biggest thing I've learned as a master of the principles of success and Mastermind and universal law and achievement, there's one principle that continues to show up in my life. It's almost like, did you forget this one, Leslie? So I'm sitting there with no clue, and in 1 week I'm going live. And I said, okay, who do I know that is an expert? Who do I see on LinkedIn going live every day? And by the way, who is the video podcast guy who's been your friend for 4 years? So the principle is seek expert advice. And I've done this several times in my life. So I don't want to invest and be a Brad. I'm okay with a Leslie, but I have to be smart enough to ask questions. So I engaged Brad. I invested in his time for 2 one-hour video sessions. He walked me through everything on a Monday. Tuesday, I rewatched the Zoom video. Wednesday, we did it again with some more finesse, right? So that I understood the technology side. And then Thursday, I watch that one again. So the thing is that when you go live and you have content, the very last thing you want to worry about is the technology. Right, Brad?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's great. And thanks for the shout out.
Oh, sure. Sure.
For you guys who are watching, this is what I do. Interested in
Yes.
going live on LinkedIn or anywhere else, I can help you do that. If you're wanting to do a regular series of live production shows, this is what I totally do. And I just want to respond to some of the comments here. Roy
Please.
is here
Hey,
and
Roy.
he says, teaching people to go live on LinkedIn sounds like something that is needed. Right.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Hopefully, it's what you want. So there's a big distinction between want and need, right? So if you want it, it's yours, Roy.
Yeah. He also said that acknowledging turning the Facebook setback into an opportunity. And
Ah, thank
so
you.
kudos.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Kirsten says she's excited to find out more. You helped change my mindset with the Mavens group, so I'm ready for more.
Oh, thank you, Kirsten.
That's so
It's so
great.
much fun. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of more, um, anyway, after just 2 times of us talking
And
and
two reviews. I
and two
went live
reviews of
on
the
Monday.
recordings that we made from those discussions,
Yes.
you were
Yes. Yes.
ready to launch your 5-day challenge. So let's talk about what happened. Like, I know that you got some pretty good results, speaking of results, from the
I
challenge
did.
that you did. And so why don't you just walk us through a little bit of, there were 5 days, you were going live
Yep.
each day. I mean,
Yep.
this is a pretty significant thing to take on as your first thing you're doing live on LinkedIn.
Well, let me tell you the truth. Full transparency here. While I had you as an expert, last year in the summer, I wanted to do a 5-day challenge. And of course, what do? I'm going to seek expert advice. So I took Megan Huber's Momentum, her 5-day challenge. Now, Megan was my client 10 years ago, so it's so wonderful that she became an expert in the 5-day challenge, and I engaged her like I did with Brad. I didn't go into her program because I didn't actually need the program. What I wanted was the nuances and how to manage this 5 day. So I invested a fair amount with both experts, but I have to tell you the results far outweighed the investment. So if you get nervous about investing, remember that your results will always exceed or match your investment. So I did this live in my group last year. And then the next 2 times while I was on LinkedIn, I did it via Zoom. And then 3 weeks ago, I did the 5. So each day from 1 to 2, I had training, which included my intellectual property. So this is free and it's 5 days, same day, all during the week for an hour. But I know people get bored seeing the same thing over and over again. And this is the converter into my 6-month paid program, the 8 Essentials Maven's Mind. So the 5-day challenge, which by the way goes 9 days because there's bonuses, etc., but only the 5 days were live on LinkedIn. And actually, the first day we had 68 comments in 1 hour,
That's
which
great.
that's you guys jotting down what it is you find valuable because writing helps. Okay, so then what happens is between the 5th day and the 9th day, I open the cart. Now you've seen enough of my work. In 5 intense hours, you get these principles or you don't. You know you're ready or you're not. And by not having to worry about the technology, a whole new platform, right? Restream was brand new for me, right? But because I had practiced over the weekend, sharing, unsharing, what would it look like? What's this view? I kind of puttered around, right? I was able to focus on delivering the content. Now, out of that, I engaged 3 new clients for 6 months. Just know that my investment in Brad was a small piece of a larger result. And the 5-day is called the art of results.
Oh, that's so great. I love that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so here, one thing I just want to sort of reiterate from what you said is that you were able to do this and get whatever you needed from the technology side of actually streaming and delivering a stream under your belt in a relatively short time, so that when it came time to do your first day of the challenge, you could focus on the delivery. And a lot of people think about this and they go, oh my gosh, I can't imagine how difficult this is going to be. The technology is going to be way too hard to figure out. It's going to be this giant challenge. And I just want to say that it's not as hard as you think. And yes, there are some steps that you want to take a look at and go over so that you're not just, shooting in the dark. But
That's right.
you can do this. Like, it is very possible to actually go live and conduct a series of presentations that literally do move people across the threshold and do move people to the place of saying, okay, I'm ready. I want to join a program. And in this case, it was a high ticket program. And so, going live and doing this is part of the whole reason of like, well, why should we go live on LinkedIn? And to me, this is a great example of, well, you went live for 5 days and you converted some new clients into this really significant signature program that you run.
Yes, and here's the thing. I do this 4 times a year. The best part about it is it's rinse and repeat. So, it's once I've done it 5 times now, and there's a full workbook, right? And I can share slides, and it's pretty comprehensive. But the 5 days is complimentary. And I must tell you that I had as many as 40 people that were taking the course and 3 signed up. So you could look at that and say, boy, that's not a very good conversion rate. But what I'm here to tell you is that many of the people that have never yet registered in my signature program have used the 5 days to do things like publish books in 2 quarters, buy a new car based on a goal that was set in the 5 day. So the 5-day teaches you the basic principles and the 12 golden rules of results. Next one is December 6th, right? You can register for it. There's no charge, right? But those 5 days include, at the end of the 5 days, your 90-day plan on a small sheet, which has 5 steps to it, and you will achieve that goal if you're willing to do the work and you want it very much. And that's a big part. For this program, LinkedIn, if you want to go live, you have to want it enough and see the value to be willing to deal with your nervousness and anxiety. I promise you, once you do it, you're going to go, oh, well, it wasn't really that bad. And you know what? I was pretty good at it too. That's really what happens. Right, Brad?
Right, exactly. All right, well, let's talk just a moment about LinkedIn itself and what are some of the features that LinkedIn offers that the other platforms do not, in terms of there are some really good reasons to use this platform specifically for live streaming. Now, I have some ideas myself, but what comes to mind for you about that?
Well, I'm kind of new at it. What I like about it over Facebook was in Facebook, I was going live in my group of 1,100. But the reality on LinkedIn, it can be 1,100 or 11,100, right? And if somebody gives you permission to tap into their group of 100,000, before you know it, what actually happens is people you don't know begin to comment and watch. And that's one way to really connect. Also, remember that in general, people on LinkedIn have higher salaries. They're more, I won't say they're more aware, but they may be more willing to invest more than they might on another platform. So it's something to consider. They're more
absolutely.
educated. Yeah.
Absolutely. Certainly, the population on LinkedIn is pretty different and distinct from the population on Facebook. And And the thing that I see that is a real difference is there's two big things. One is basically what the algorithm and how the platforms treat you. Now, Facebook has done the thing that a lot of other platforms have evolved into, where the original promise when you went onto LinkedIn is create a page, get everybody you can think of to like your page, thousands and thousands of them. And in the beginning, that was actually a great thing because you could do all of that and you could go live to the people who have liked your page, and they would all be there and they'd all show up, and the algorithm would, announce to the world that, yes, Leslie is live here on Facebook, and all these people would come and you would have this fairly healthy audience, every time you did this. Well, times have changed. And now, no matter what you do, no matter what kind of posts that you put over on Facebook, the number of people that reaches organically is very, very small. And so here you are, you've invested all this time in connecting to, this whole group of people and creating these communities. And the only way that Facebook will let you reach those people is if you turn your posts into an ad and pay for the reach. And that's their business model. Whereas currently on LinkedIn, the algorithm actually works more in your favor. And so when you have a post, and if your post is in fact engaging and people are commenting and you're having a conversation, the more that's happening, the more the algorithm will start showing your content to more and more people. And this doesn't matter what kind of it could be a post, it could be a poll, it could be, a picture, it could be a video, but all of those with engagement will get more and more reach. But there is another thing that LinkedIn does that I think is practically genius that none of the other platforms do. And that is when you schedule your post to go live, it actually gives you that scheduled page, like a special page called an event page. And so now what's happening is that you are hosting an event where people can come and join you. And not only that, once that page is created, LinkedIn allows you to invite all of the people who you are connected with. And when you send them an invitation, not only do they get a notification, but they actually get an email from LinkedIn announcing your event. So this is really a huge advantage in terms of being able to promote some special presentation or masterclass or 5-day challenge that you're doing. You can schedule it in advance, and then you can invite all of your connections. All of them will receive a notice, and you have control over this. You can directly send them a personal invitation. And I think this is a tremendous advantage in using this platform.
Yes, and you've illuminated me to those things. And there was one thing that I didn't mention. Having a group on Facebook I nurtured it every day for 4 years. I opened it, it's called One Woman's Voice, and I opened it the day in 2016 that president was elected, right? It was time for One Woman's Voice. Now, when I left, remember I left a group of 1,100 that was fully monetized and a group of 4,500. And I'll tell you what I did with those groups. I gave them to the people that had my back while I was in transition. Here's the other thing. I got back about 20 hours of business time because on Facebook, you're on there all the time interacting. People don't do the same thing in the groups here. It's a little different. I got back all this time to spend with my grandkids and my clients. That was a hidden benefit that I didn't expect.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so we're kind of at the end of our time here. Okay. So to wrap this up, what kind of invitation or last final nugget of wisdom would you like to share with people who are watching today?
Probably my biggest revelation in my own life is, and it seems very simple, Brad, is just because I don't know how it works yet doesn't mean it's not working. What I would encourage you to do is figure out if you're interested in learning how to set goals, which we were never taught, so that you can count on them, predict them, so they become habitual, repetitive. I would invite you to join my group on LinkedIn called The Art of Results, and then keep your eyes open because December 6th to 10th, I will be doing the 5-day challenge again, and that will have everybody set up for Q1 2022. Whether you come into my paid program or not, you have the frame or framework or the infrastructure of the basic concepts of what it takes to achieve consistently. Because haphazard and sporadic results do not give you the momentum and the success that you want. And so I encourage you, if it feels right, come find me on LinkedIn and do the 5-day with me. And let's connect.
All right. So the Art of Results group here on LinkedIn, I'll make sure that the link to that group, I'll put it in the comments down below. I'll also, if you're listening, I'll have it in the show notes, the podcast episode, so people can go and connect with Leslie that way. And look forward to her next challenge that will be happening in December. So thanks so much for joining today, Leslie. This has been awesome.
May I say one thing, please?
Absolutely.
So to Brad, he doesn't know this. Did I ever tell you you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be. And I get to fly higher than an eagle because you were the wind beneath my wings.
Oh my gosh. You made my day. I don't think anyone has ever sung me a song before.
Oh, you're my hero.
That's so great. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining. This has been fantastic.
Gotcha.
All right. And so this has been another episode of the Livestream Show. If you are interested in getting the entire archive of past episodes, just go to thelivestreamshow.com and you can binge listen to the entire archive. And of course, subscribe, and you can find this in two places. You can find it on your favorite podcast app, or if you actually prefer to watch these on video, you can see it over on my YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube and type in Brad Powell video. You'll find my channel, and you will find the entire playlist series of the Livestream Show there on my channel. And if you are interested in learning how to do LinkedIn Live, send me a DM or go to awesomevideomakers.com and set up a time for the two of us to have a virtual coffee chat. It will be virtual because I actually don't drink coffee, I drink tea. And we can talk about what you're thinking of doing and how you can get set up to go live to your heart's content. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video. So